Understanding the causes of population decline is needed to be able to develop management plans in preventing extinctions. A species in the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary that is endangered is the West Indian manatee. Causes of population decline of manatees are habitat loss and collisions with boats. The causes of manatee population decline are almost all human-caused. The first cause, habitat loss, is due to a decrease in seagrass. Seagrass is a large part of the manatee's diet, and because seagrass habitat is declining, this decreases the available food for manatees. Seagrass habitat is in decline due to changes in water temperature and acidity, as well as disturbances caused by anchoring. In this map, you can see that seagrass within the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary is declining and dying off. These habitat changes have an effect on manatees, so understanding how seagrass habitat is changing is important to address manatee decline. The second cause of population decline is collisions with boats. So by knowing these two things that are risks to manatees, we can use that in management to preventing extinctions. The West Indian manatee is listed as vulnerable by the IUCN. The IUCN estimates the total population of West Indian manatees to be less than 10,000 and has an expected 10% decline rate over 3 generations. The Florida manatee subspecies is listed as endangered. This population is estimated to be less than 2,500 mature manatees, and the IUCN estimates the population to decline by at least 20% in 2 generations, mostly because of climate change, habitat loss, and boat collisions. Because of the West Indian manatees population status is endangered, there are protections afforded to them under the Endangered Species Act. These manatees are also protected under the Marine Mammal Protection Act. These make it illegal to harass, hunt, capture, or kill manatees. To minimize manatee disturbances by boats, manatee zones have been labeled, which only allow boats to pass through at a slow speed. A management challenge is finding a way to address habitat changes due to changes in water temperature. It is difficult to directly change what temperature currents enter the Florida Keys, but many of the drivers of habitat loss in the Florida Keys are driven by climate change, so managing that requires a global effort. This graph shows some success of management strategies in the Florida Keys. This graph is from a master's thesis that was called Seasonal Warm Water Refuge and Sanctuary Usage by the Florida Manatee in Kings Bay, Citrus County, Florida, by Saddleberger. This shows the peak and average manatee counts in summer from 1983 to 2012 in Kings Bay. This graph indicated that population of the West Indian manatee is increasing, so the management strategies are doing something that's working. There are 3 levels of conservation planning: species level, site level, and landscape level. I'll mostly be talking about site level conservation. Site level conservation is conservation that is focused on prevention of habitat destruction in order to maintain biodiversity. Because habitat destruction is a large cause of loss of biodiversity, focusing on the habitat destruction of one site can be really effective at preventing a loss of biodiversity. With this approach, conservation of species doesn't have to happen one at a time, and many different species can be addressed at once. A big idea behind site-level conservation is that habitat is the most important thing in conservation of other species. So by focusing efforts on conserving habitats, many species will benefit. The Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary really embodies the ideas of site-level conservation. The purpose of the sanctuary is to provide protected habitat in order to conserve species, especially species that are threatened or endangered. The Marine Sanctuary is home to a variety of different threatened and endangered species like corals, seagrass, sea turtles, manatees, egrets, queen conch, and many others. The Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary uses marine zoning as its main management strategy. Marine zoning is a conservation strategy that sections off areas into different zones based off of the importance and level of damage of each section. The sanctuary has created 5 different zones that each section can be assigned to. And each zone has different prohibited activities, which are catered to what the needs of that area are. Marine zoning is a really good management strategy for habitat loss prevention in an area that has varying conservation needs. The marine sanctuary and other protected sites like it provide vital habitat to species that are at risk and who risk extinction due to habitat loss. This map shows all of the different zones within the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary, and you can see that there's a lot of wildlife management areas. The Florida economy is a factor that is important to consider when planning for conservation. The marine sanctuary is a benefit to the economy because of its role as a place for fishing and tourism. According to analysis of socioeconomics and the marine sanctuary conducted by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the sanctuary contributes 58% of the local Florida Keys economy, with recreation and tourism, and 8.8% of all employment in the Florida Keys comes from the fishing industry. The marine sanctuary and the economy both support each other and are closely connected. This graph shows how tourism is correlated with the Florida economy and what the growth is, and you can see in 2016 it's really high. The economy also gives back to the sanctuary with funding for science and conservation. A priority is placed on supporting the sanctuary's conservation efforts because the maintenance of the ecosystem of the Florida Keys directly influences the profitability of the sanctuary. Considering the relationship between economy and ecology is needed to ensure that conservation is still able to be funded and supported, and also to ensure that the needs of the people are met and they can be prosperous. So my recommendations were based off of water quality. Decreased water quality has a very negative impact on the Florida Keys ecosystem, and this issue is harder to manage than other conservation issues because the cause of decreased water quality is not within the sanctuary and it's caused by non-point source pollution. This makes it hard to hold people responsible for the water pollution. Agricultural runoff has introduced nitrogen to the water, and this has caused really large phytoplankton blooms, which can result in dead zones. This runoff also introduced pesticides and animal waste into the water, which can be damaging to marine organisms. The management approach that I would take would be to address agricultural runoff with education and certification programs. A certification program that could be set up would allow farmers and ranchers to gain certification for following measures that reduced runoff. Methods that would be included in the certification would be implementing nutrient management plans, using integrated pest management, using irrigation methods that decrease erosion, and managing waste from animals responsibly. I would also want to make education available for farmers and ranchers on how to implement these different methods and why it is important to reduce agricultural runoff. These certifications could be used in advertisement of products, and by encouraging consumers to purchase products with this certification, it would incentivize farmers and ranchers to get the certification. And another option could be to incentivize it by offering financial incentives to farmers and ranchers. And the goal of all of this would be to decrease the pollutants that are entering the water and also just decrease runoff in general. And these are all of my works cited. And that's it. Thank you.